Hello, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Victoria. I'm a mum of 5 in the UK. On this channel I do homemaking, home education, low income living and the occasional charity shop haul. I've paused my washing machine because it's loud. But if you hear any like squeaking or me moving around, it's because I'm trying to wipe my kitchen down while I do this voiceover. And 2 of the chickens have helped themselves and just come into the kitchen, so that you might be able to hear them as well. But this is my life. I've had this footage on the phone a while, and I haven't been able to do a voiceover, and I'm in that sort of hour in the morning where I'm trying to get my jobs done before the toddler wakes up. So I'm trying to do the voiceover as well. Now, I have been selling on Vinted for a couple of years now. I couldn't get the hang of it at first. I'm not very technical. But then, I didn't understand how to do postage labels and all that when I haven't got a printer. And then I had to message a friend of mine who sells on Vinted, who's a lot more technical than I am. And she explained to me how you press digital label and you go to the shop and they print it off for you. So that was a godsend, because otherwise I don't know how to do this. I've said before, I can go for weeks and weeks or months and months without selling anything. And then sometimes I sell things all in a flurry, because what I generally do is I'll sell things we don't want anymore. But normally, by the time my kids are done with stuff, it either needs handing down to the next kid or it's trashed. Although my daughter, she's the only daughter, so I can sometimes sell old things of hers. But the boys, in general, it gets handed down or it's trashed. So I don't sell a lot of things like that, but I have sold a couple of things like that. Mostly what I sell is things I've been given. People tend to give you things when you've got 5 kids because they think you're poor. And they mean well, and a lot of the time I can use what they give me. But, if it's something like a particularly fussy child and they won't wear it, or it just doesn't fit them, or it's just not suitable, or they've already got something like that or whatever, then I'll pop it on Vinted. Or I'm giving random things anyway because people know I sell things on Vinted and I've got 5 kids and it all helps. But because I get given stuff, I'd feel a bit cheeky selling it for more. So I end up putting it on for £1 or £2. And that way somebody gets a bargain, cheaper than they get in the charity shop. Somebody who's maybe in desperate need of a bargain, I get £1 or £2, and some people have turned their nose up at that. But, it's £1 or £2 I didn't have in my pocket before, isn't it? And if I leave it alone, my Vinted balance mounts up. And last year I was able to take all 5 kids to the fair and not worry about money, like have a splurge, because I've been saving on Vinted for months. And it really helped because it meant the fair, 1, it was a blowout, which you don't often get to do on a low income. And 2, it didn't come out my proper money at all because it was out my Vinted balance. Or you could just leave it in your Vinted balance to mount up. And then if you see anything you want for yourself or your kids, you can pay for it with your Vinted balance. And then you've not actually spent a penny because that money it weren't actually money, it was in your Vinted account. It's more like swapping. That big bag of stuff you've just seen, that big bin liner covered bag you've just seen, that was a huge haul that somebody bought, and I had a bad feeling about it just because of the way she spoke to me. But I thought, it's a massive order, she was getting it loads cheaper than, if I'd have sold it individually, because she made me an offer. But because it was getting rid of a load of stuff I'd had under the bed for months, which I was on the verge of giving away, as well as some new stuff, I thought, right, I'll just do it. Took it to the shop. They wouldn't take it. They said the parcel was too big. Now, I've never sent in a parcel that big before. I have seen somebody try to bring in a cot to a shop and they wouldn't take it. But no, they wouldn't take it. They said that the Yodel man wouldn't take it. They'd have had a mard on, not took it because it's just so big, and it was really, really big. So I took it back home, messaged the woman and said, look, they won't take it, it's too big. We're going to have to break it down into 2 smaller parcels. But because that means you'll have to pay 2 lots of postage instead of 1, I'm willing to sell the 2 smaller bundles for less to make up for the inconvenience. And I reckon the shop did me a favour by refusing to take it, because this woman, and this is probably why I had a bad feeling about it, she turned out to be a bit of a nut job. She just kept she was shouting at me, and I kept explaining over and over again. And bearing in mind she was getting this stuff dirt cheap anyway. Over and over again I kept explaining it to her, and then she just put another order in, but it was the same order. So I was like, look, the shop won't take it. You're going to have to do it in smaller bundles, and I'm willing to adjust the price to accommodate that. And she's still she's shouting at me, so I ended up blocking her. And then I ended up selling 3 of the things individually over the night, woke up to it, and since then I've sold another 3 of the things individually, which will earn me more money, and the shop hasn't got to deal with a massive parcel, and I ain't got to deal with a nut job. So the other reason I would sell things cheap on Vinted is because I've heard eBay's good at dealing with disputes, but I've never actually sold on eBay, so I don't know myself. But I've heard eBay's good at dealing with disputes, but Vinted are not good at dealing with disputes. Time and time again on the Vinted group on Facebook, I've seen people say, "Why has the buyer got to buy a protection fee off Vinted when Vinted do nothing?" But I've never seen it from the point of view of a buyer. But that's what I've heard from the point of view of the buyer. But from the point of view of the seller, they have your back a bit more if you're the seller. Like the other day, I sold this bag, and there was nothing wrong with this bag at all, because I was contemplating keeping it myself. And I thought, well, no, I'll put it on first. If it doesn't sell, then I'll keep it for myself. And it sold, and I was a bit disappointed because I'd wanted it. But anyway, I parcelled it off same day. It was £1, this bag. And fair enough, she had to pay buyer protection fee and then the postage. But all in all, it was a great deal, because it was a brand new sports bag, never been used. She tried to get out of paying. She messaged me first saying it was a different bag. I was like, it's not a different bag. Then she messaged me saying it was discoloured. I was like, it's not discoloured because it's brand new. Then she said it was mouldy on the inside. I'm like, it is not mouldy on the inside, because I was going to keep that bag for myself. I know there's nothing wrong with that bag at all. Then I said to her, look, it was only £1. She was going, it was not only £1. I was like, it was listed as £1. Anyway, she goes to Vinted saying she wants to return it. Vinted gave me the option to press that she pays for the return or I pay for the return. Well, there was nothing wrong with that bag, so I put she pay for the return. Well, paying to return it would have cost 3 or 4 times as much as what she paid for the bag. So she ended up just paying me the £1, which I knew she would. And then she left me a 1-star review saying how the bag was full of mould and it was dirty and all this lot. And I just put, what I've just told you, that it's lie upon lie to get out of paying for £1. And it's disgraceful behaviour. So that's why I'd never sell anything expensive on Vinted. Because also I sent a pair of knee-length suede boots once to Vinted, and they just disappeared. I don't even know what happened there. They reckon the parcel got lost. But the buyer never got in touch with me, so I don't know if they received them or not, but I never got paid for them. And because it was only £1, I was like, yeah, whatever. I mean, I've known people sell their wedding dresses on Vinted, and it's all worked out well. So it can work out well. But can you imagine selling your wedding dress on Vinted and they refuse to pay, or it just goes missing or whatever? I won't do it. So I'd just treat it as an online car boot, which is what it is. It's an online car boot. Same as nobody's ever slagged my packaging off. I I'll use like a cereal box and stick postage labels on it, or a beer box and stick postage labels on it, or if it's massive, I'll do loads and loads of bin bags. I sold some porcelain, Vinted, jewellery holders, and again, they're only £1, but I was frightened of them breaking in the post, and I didn't have any bubble wrap like that, so I got loads and loads of old potato bags, you know, just the Tesco potato bags that I keep in the drawer, which I don't know why I keep in the drawer, and I just wrapped them in loads and loads and loads and loads of them to stop them breaking. And the woman was happy with what she got, but I have seen people on the Facebook group and they're like, I ordered a top and it came in an old cereal box, or I ordered a top and it came in a bagel bag. Now, as long as it's clean, doesn't matter what it come in, because if I had to start buying proper packaging, one, if I had to buy loads of postage bags, it's more plastic. It's more bloody plastic crap floating around ruining the environment rather than recycling old boxes. And I get them postage labels for free, by the way, off somebody who finds them in a skip and they're clean. But anyway, apart from the environmental issue, if I was buying posh packaging for a £1 top, I'd have to charge more for that top, because I'd be at a loss, and I'm doing this to make money, not spend money. So, you know, it either comes in an old cereal box and it's clean and you pay £1, or I can get some fancy pants packaging and you pay £6. And the other reason I sell things cheap is because I want them gone. I haven't got the room to store them under my bed's chocker stuff. I haven't got the space or the patience. I'd rather get it. I mean, if somebody buys it or buys a bundle, because I've got discount switched on bundles, and then they sell it on for more money because they've got the time and the space, and, you know, then good for them. I don't mind. But the thing is, I see loads of people putting clothes on really expensive, and then they're like, it didn't sell, or I gave it charity shop, or if it doesn't sell, I'm giving it charity shop. Well, if your next port of call is giving it away for free to a charity shop that's going to charge a lot of money because a lot of them are getting greedy now, and that's not going to help somebody in a bad situation, you might as well just sell it dead cheap, aren't you? You might as well sell it dead cheap, get rid of it. You've got £1, which, yeah, is only £1, but it's £1 more than you had before. And like I say, if you leave it, it mounts up, and somebody gets a bargain. And you don't know people's circumstances. I was given a load of size 17 to 18 years black school trousers, yeah? Not suitable for any of my kids. And I didn't know anybody who, I think there was 6 pairs she gave me. And I didn't know anybody that needed them, because if I did, I'd have given them, right? So I put them on Vinted, the whole lot, 6 pairs for £1. This woman bought them, and then she messaged me and she was like, thank you so much for selling them to me that cheap, because I'm really struggling to get my lad's sixth form uniform together, and that's helped me so much. So, you know, if your next port of call is to give it away for nothing, and you don't mind giving it away for nothing, you might as well just sell it cheaper and help somebody out, and then you get a couple of pound in your pocket. That's my thing anyway. On the Facebook group, I saw this woman. She'd sold a pair of jeans. This buyer had sent her a picture of this pair of jeans full of holes and like marks, and gone, I'm not paying for these. I've told Vincent I'm not paying for these. And she says, and she put the picture on of the pair of jeans she'd sold, and it was a different pair of jeans. It was completely different. This person was just trying it on, just trying to get a free pair of jeans. And, you know, it's like that. Whatever you deal with in life, it's like that. You're going to get a load of nice people, because most of my reviews are nice. But you're also going to get the odd nasty person, the odd nut job, the odd person who's just out for a scrounge, or to try and get something free, or to con somebody. I've had a couple of comments where somebody's not wanted to pay for something that's £1, and they've put, it absolutely stunk of cigarette smoke. We don't smoke. We don't smoke. If you just said, oh, it's got Jack Russell ears on it, fair enough, but we don't smoke. Anyway, if you like that video, let me know. I can do more Vinted musings if it appeals to you. So let me know. Yeah, let me know if you're on Vinted and what you think of it. Is it an online car boot? Or do you think people should be a bit more upmarket about it? I'm saving this time to take them to the fair, but if we get more than that, I'll put the rest away for something for Christmas. I saw a top on there I really wanted for myself, and then I felt really bad, and I was like, I can't justify it because that money's for the kids. That money's to taking the kids to the fair. I can't get myself a top. Oh, I'm wiping the bottom of my cabinets now. See, multitasking, you see, talking to you and cleaning. Not that you can tell I clean on my videos because, you know, kids. Right, if you like that video, please subscribe. I'm trying really hard to make this YouTuber thing. I'm not finding it easy. This is my last sort of run at it, I think, before I decide if it's for me or not, because I'm doing this a long time now. I've been doing it nearly 8 years, and I still haven't made anything. It's you know, I'm starting to question if it's for me or not. So if you like it, please do like and subscribe because you'll help me out. Oh, well, I'm getting bored now. So I'll see you next time, darlings. Bye bye.